All right, welcome back. It is still VOP this morning, right here on Voice of the People Television. Well, still with us to make sense of this conversation is Dr. Gani Oluwashola and Mr. Isiaka Gbadamosi, who is, of course, joining us virtually. I'm going to stay with you, Mr. Isiaka, on this particular situation. What do you think this revelation by the UAE government is going to have on the image of the Nigerian government? Let me also bring it to the fact that some time ago, when the president traveled outside to Brazil, I believe, no, the UAE as well, he came back and then there was a communique that came out to say that Nigeria and Maersk had a contract deal. And later that day, Maersk debunked that same deal. What does this give to the image of this Nigerian government?
Okay, thank you very much. Before going to the image of the government, I think the first thing I want to look at is what did this whole thing play up for me? What it played up for me is the fact that Nigerians are enthusiastic in leaving this country in droves. It continues to tell me that there are issues that makes Nigerians want to looking for opportunities elsewhere as much as possible. Because if you look at what happened, what do Nigerians go to UAE for? Most of Nigerians go to UAE in search of job. Most of them go for tourism. Some take foreign currency to go invest in there. So we are having capital flights either all around, whichever way we look at it, when we open up our borders or when we have this direct interaction with some of these countries. And what is the benefit to Nigeria? We are the losing end at the end of the day, at most of the occasions. Now, for me, that is very unfortunate because to have a situation where Nigerians are constantly looking for the opportunity to leave the country is, for me, something that is very worrisome and very bitter. Having said that, the issue of what image it portrays for Nigeria, first and foremost, Nigeria is not a determinant of the policy of any other government.
Yeah.
As in any other government of another country. So if maybe Nigeria has an understanding with the country and the country is not living up to it, or maybe there is a misunderstanding somewhere, I don't think that Nigerians should take the fall for that. I am a bit surprised that the Minister of Information is coming out to speak to this issue, because these are issues that I think the embassies of the United Arab Emirates should be speaking to. And besides, most of this information you have just put up out now has been debunked, has not been the reality. So I look forward to seeing what is the real thing that is happening. But beyond that, let's take a look at some of the things that has propped up. Talking about increase of to 650,000 naira and maybe $10,000.
All right, we seem to have a glitch in the network there. Oh well, he was just talking about the initial fee, which was about 60 to 90,000 naira, and then this alleged increase that has about 300% onto it, brought it to about 640,000 naira. But let's come to you now. Now, talking about the desire amongst Nigerians to want to run away. Let's look at the policies the things that happened that escalated into a visa ban, escalated into deportation of Nigerians, escalated into banning of foreigners in the UAE. I mean, it wasn't just Nigeria. There were other countries that were also banned from getting access into the UAE. Do you think those things have been addressed before we are now talking about a lifting of the visa ban? They have labor laws, labor laws in 2021. The labor laws prevented foreigners, even those that had their papers, documents complete, from getting jobs. And then we saw a mass deportation from the UAE to Nigeria. Do you think those things have been addressed before we are talking about a lifting of a visa ban?
So the question we should also ask ourselves, who are the people that are behind these hacks, right? You see a lot of people exploiting Nigerians, saying that, oh, there are job opportunities in the UAE, you need to pay so much.
Well, officials of the UAE have come to dissociate themselves from that website, documentation verification hub. Yes. They've come to dissociate themselves from it, that they don't know anything about it, and they're not operating on their behalf. So it's now left for us to know who and who are, using or operating the website.
Mostly these are illegal means. It's just like people traveling abroad using Mediterranean Sea, right? So these are illegal means, but people are they are tired of leaving the country to another country because they are looking for a better life. And they will not get there and discover that, oh, where they are coming from, it's even much more better than where they're going. It's just like when Buhari was going, he said that, oh, when I leave, you are going to miss me. And there's a guy on social media that said that he's tempted to say that he's already missing Buhari. Do you understand? So they think there is a better life over there. And they go there and they subject them to unnecessary...
Now, that's what I have a problem with, actually. The fact that Nigerians are... Well, we're speaking for Nigerians now. Nigerians are subjected to dehumanizing conditions. And then, I don't know if you knew people that were brought back between 2021 and 2022. I know a few people who had their documents complete. They were working already, but because of the policies of the government of the UAE, they were bundled back to Nigeria. And now we are seeing excitement on the faces of Nigerians that visa ban has been lifted. What is the problem with us, really?
Is it Nigerians that are really happy, or is it a selected few who have seen UAE as a means of going up to, splurge on Nigerians?
Typically, the way it works. I tell people, when we are growing up, when somebody is being given when you travel to a village and you want to bring someone to Lagos, it's excited. As if when it comes to Lagos, it will be picking money from the grounds or as a leaf from Lagos. So it's when it comes to Lagos, say, oh, things are not like that it needs to work hard. So the same thing, people that have not been perhaps permitted to use this word, have not been privileged to travel out of Nigeria before, and they assume that once you get to a specific area outside the country, it will be extremely better than Nigeria. There was a time a lady put on her social handle and said that, oh, she was happy relocating back from Canada to Nigeria because she was being subjected to a dehumanized environment and also a life that is not comfortable. So coming back to Nigeria is like a breakthrough for her, right? So there's a lot of things that is happening over there. But what we are begging our leaders is that let us enjoy being a Nigerian. A typical, look at it, Dirham before, the gap between Dirham, which is the currency being spent in Dubai, and Nigeria, it's not wide. Naira. But now, it's a huge sum of money. So when you look at it vis-a-vis, and I can remember also, it's just by the leaders we are having. Maybe we are being punished with not having a good leaders. There was a time in the early 70s, Dubai Prince came to meet Obasanjo and said that, please, can you loan us some money to develop our country? And Obasanjo looked at Dubai and said that, oh, this is a desert. I cannot waste our outcomes and deploy it and borrow you to use it in a desert.
Guess you didn't have foresight then.
Right? Then now they are billions of dollars in that environment because they have structured the environment. There was a couple of times then when you even get to Dubai, the car they use for Uber, right? It's like the big cars that our big men are using over here. So you look at the gap, and the leader says that one of the things is just like, because the leaders must be more concerned about the citizen than his or herself. So when we look at it vis-a-vis, and the only thing I see that if the UAE are saying that, oh, what we are professing, what our minister says that 640,000 naira non-refundable currency, what is going to paint us is that, oh, does it mean that the government want to exploit its citizen?
Or some individuals are trying to play hanky-panky.
You understand? To exploit the citizen, to travel. So it can just show that they can't even trust our government. With that information, why will you have a $10,000 as a bank balance? Even if you are going to UK or it's not been so for Dubai here. You know what? Honestly, I'm not a fan.
When you say Dubai here,
I'm telling you, if you need to get to that place and see, it's just because they have a foresight.
Who is really trying to defend?
This is a place where rain falls once in a year. If not because of they use a scientific means to draw rain and there's a flood of this rain. They don't. It's a place where you can see and say that they use more of white scar because it's more or less like you can see the environment. But the question is that why we've seen our leaders that travel wide. They've even stayed there. Why can't you import what is being done there, replicate it in this country, and make this country a much more... Nigeria has a lot of resources. Even one of the EFCC chairman even said, he was still surprised when you see a lot of loot that is being taken away from this country. And he's still saying that this is in Nigeria. And said that, how does this country survive? And still surviving. This Abacha loot, it has not been recovered. He said it took us almost 10 years to recover part of the loot, and we are still recovering. This is because Abacha died. What about those people that have not died? What about people that are still... And we use... even the Dubai we are talking about, that they have the iPhone 3 and be giving us some kind of... and banning us. I like that phrase. You see a street there. It's owned by Nigeria, right? They don't have the audacity. You see, we take our currency, our hard-earned currency, and dump it there. And do you know that they're smart? They have this policy and say you are free to bring it to Dubai, but you can't take out of here. That's
actually bring me to this question now, Dr. Ganiyu. What Dubai or United Arab Emirates actually use is the oil money that they generate. Nigeria also happened to be part of the OPEC, that's OPEC country. And when you go back to the United Arab Emirates, you find out that the government actually put so many policies in place to make sure that life of citizens are kind of better and stronger. We rarely hear that people from United Arab Emirates want to move over to Nigeria to stay and all that. We have if you're pregnant there, from the time you take in CO, pattern time, maybe tertiary institution level, the government will take care of that. Even those who are doing business also have loans from the government. Nigeria also have oil. We are also oil producers. What do you now think is what is making Nigerian government to be redundant in doing the needful to make sure we utilize or we have a very good output from the oil that we have in Nigeria?
You see, this happens if you don't have the interest of the country at heart. If you don't have the interest of the people at heart, if you are just concerned about yourself and enriching yourself, that is when you are going to have this kind of problem in our hands. When you get to even Dubai, the way it even works, you can't get a citizen of Dubai. You cannot. The way it even works is that their guy can only marry you. You can't marry their guy. Once you marry their guy, you are no longer their citizen. You see, they're so long put so you know why I'm annoyed is that Dubai is not better than Nigeria. Nigeria has a far resources to be far better than Dubai. You see, it's an environment you need to go there and see. You understand? But the question is that how do we handle our resources there? Over there, I once said there was a time that a prince came in on board. And he discovered that it's not that there's no corruption over there, but because there's a system that works, there's a system that can checkmate them, and there's this political will to cut off your wing.
And that's what we lack in Nigeria.
Right? So the man discovered that, they gave this prince a $3 billion project. He only spent $500 million there. So he got to a time and said that, okay, I'm here, and there's a cash crowd. They need more money to fund it. They don't need to borrow. So they need to look inward. Who are the people holding us into ransom? Because it's also become an issue. When a person is richer than a country, there's a problem. Or a person in a state, a former governor, is richer than the state, there's a problem there.
Is that really a problem? Because we know there are individuals who are richer than countries.
There are individuals, if there are policies in place, there's no how. That is, let me even digress a bit. That is why in US, you see that people like Bill Gates Foundation, because even your inheritance, you can't, once you transfer it, half of it goes to back to the government, right? So they try to bridge the gap between the rich and the poor. And so those kind of people, they also levy them more in taxes. The question is that in Nigeria, who are the people paying the taxes? Who are the people paying more? So are we trying to bridge the gap?
In that area,
are we trying to bridge the gap or widen the gap, right? Are we trying to put more burden, right? Look at the Kenyan government even say, it said, how can I use so much money to buy presidential jets?
It's interesting you understand? It's interesting you mentioned the Kenyan government, and I'm sorry to cut you here. A 7 minister in Nigeria posted this link to Nigerians stating that these particular restrictions are the reason why the UAE government would give and grant Nigerians visa. And this same 7 minister is still in power. Why is there nothing being done to this regards? That's one. Secondly, I put it to you this beautiful morning that in Dubai, per hour, they pay them 92 dirhams, which is about 1 dirham to Nigerian currency, about 435 naira. Now, just opposite per hour. Nigerians are still seeking for salaries increase from our government. Now, at this point, where do Nigerians have their succor, even at this time?
That is where I talk about leadership, right? A leadership is that if you don't also have a system to be able to, even the EFCC chairman says that if the asset you acquire does not reflect your current pay, it is questionable. You leave a political office, right? And after leaving a political office, you amass so much wealth. The question is that what are you being paid when you are still in the office? How do you get so? As we speak, the former governor of Kogi is yet to be brought to book. So much annoying, right? Right? It's still yet to be brought to book. He even have the effrontery and the courage, the audacity, saying that you must bring it to my state. Don't get it. And this is a sovereign country. And you know what it pictures for us in the global space is that it's an environment you can go away and do what you want to do. Okay. Do you understand? So, but these are things we need to look at. Indeed, if Nigeria are ready, and we have the political will, honestly, Nigeria can be better. Even most of these bandits, Boko Haram, most of them are self-sponsored. Most of these government officers, we know them. But the question is that, do you have the courage to unpick them and use them as a deterrent? The political will is not there. Right until we come of it and say that this is Nigeria. Because do not forget, if this country is in chaos and you decide to run away from this country, you will still come back here. You still have family members. There's no how you can evacuate all your generation out of this country. This is what you should know. You must make your own better off. And I like why, or something about Trump, he said American first. American first. And that's why they're giving him a thumb up. We must come to a state and say, Nigeria first. What are we going to do to the citizens of this country to make their life better and to even make Nigeria a better place to stay? Dubai, we all talk about Dubai. Even a lot of people want to travel to Dubai. You see them having a dancing sea, having a tourist environment, and you see a whole street owned by a Nigerian former minister. Where did he? And the money you move it to another jurisdiction to develop that jurisdiction.
The onus now falls on the Nigerian government to probe its officials that have, or individuals that have moved monies from Nigeria to invest in other countries like the UAE, for example. They should be probed. Maybe that way they will stop the that attitude.
Even if they don't want to probe them, we advise the government, do like what Dubai Prince did. Pull them together. Get a very good top-class hotel in Abuja. Lock them there. You are going nowhere. 1 year you will be there. You will eat, you will drink, your wife will be there. If you need 2 girlfriends, you will be given there. But you are going nowhere. But out of this money, we won't jail you. You have a house in Dubai. We know you stole that money. Bring the money back to Nigeria. Invest it. We are not even collecting the money from you. Invest the money back into Nigeria. liquidate it, all this foreign money, bring it back to this country. We know you stole so amount of money. I know it. Out of this money, bring back, give me
all right, because
so much amount of money. Once you collect that money, you bring it back in, and it's going to, we don't need to borrow. What Edun says, he said we don't need to borrow. But the question is that you asking, did he advise? There's one thing for you to advise, there's another thing for you to take. And do not forget that if he misbehaves, tomorrow we have another Minister of Finance. Do you get it? So it needs to also be, he will give his advice. If he's taking, fine. If he's not taking, he play his game and ensure that what he can do better until he finishes tenure.
All right, thank you very much. So would that be your concluding thoughts?
It's fine.
All right then. Thank you very much, Dr. Gani Oluwashola, FCTI, Managing Partner, that's a title, Managing Partner, KJB Professional Services. Thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Unfortunately, we lost connection to our virtual guest, Isiaka Gbadamosi, but we must say a big thank you to you as well for participating, for your thoughts and your views. Isiaka Gbadamosi is a public affairs analyst and an SDG advocate. Well, we thank you as well for your time on the program. Let's also put it out there that the conversation of the $10,000 bank balance and the 640,000 naira required for visa application to the UAE has been debunked by officials from the United Arab Emirates. And the Minister of Information did say that the Nigerian government will look into that. But we also have concerns as to looking into the way Nigerians were brought back, looking into relationship between the UAE and Air Peace, and other issues that led to a breakdown of a relationship between Nigeria and the UAE. Well, this conversation, of course, will continue in days to come. Let's take a break now. When we come back, we get into business, entertainment, and sports. Stay with us.